In this video, we're going to be talking about the neighborhood of Caballo Ranch. Hey everyone, Raj Sahu here, realtor in Austin, Texas. I have to say congratulations to my buyers who just went under contract on this home, and I love this area for so many reasons. Here's why. Starting off with the location of Caballo Ranch, it's in the northwest part of Austin, right on the border of Cedar Park and Leander. Right in this location where the blinking circle was. And the reason why I like this community and why I find so many buyers are attracted to this area, it really starts off with the parks. So this is going to be the neighborhood of Caballo Ranch. You'll see it does have an amenity center and a pool within the community. Of course, if you're watching this during the pandemic, a lot of HOAs have shut down the pool to limit congregation, of course, but that could possibly change in the future. I actually live in the northwest part of Austin as well, and our HOA is allowing our pool to start on May 1st, which is very exciting. So hopefully that does come back here soon enough, but the big draw, in my opinion, is going to be South Williamson County Park. So to have this type of park close by, I think attracts so many people, especially those coming to Austin. I feel like Austin, generally speaking, attracts someone who's a little bit more on the active side and wants to be around an area where they can play sports, they can hike, they can bike, or they can just go on a walk and spend some time in an area on a weekly basis. And for me, that's definitely going to be South Williamson County Park. If I go to a satellite image here, you'll see that they have almost everything that you would want in a park. First off, they have a lot of soccer fields, as you see here. Soccer field here, even over here. They say lacrosse. I don't play much lacrosse, but I'm assuming that they play it around here. There's also a soccer field here. I'm a big soccer player, so I have played here on a weekly basis pre-pandemic. But you'll also see some tennis courts here. These are all actually basketball courts on this side. There's an outdoor track here that is open to the public. At least every weekend that I was there, it was open to the public. Of course, some baseball fields here. There's a splash pad. There's even a cricket field on this end. And when we play soccer here, every weekend we've done that, I've seen a cricket game going on there. Just a lot of great space, very active. When you come here, there is also some trails that lead into this greenery, as you can tell. There's also a trail that goes through the park, so I often see people running through it or biking or different activities like that. And it's just a very happening place. I would call South Williamson County Park an area that you could go to easily on a weekly basis. The other park that's relatively close by is just south of Ronald Reagan Boulevard. And one thing I want to clear up here, again, this is going to be Caballo Ranch. Ronald Reagan Boulevard is the same as Palmer Lane. It just is called something different when it gets north of Whitestone Boulevard. So the other park that's close by, if you're familiar with Palmer Lane, is going to be this Brushy Creek Lake Park. Brushy Creek Lake Park has this dam on the side here, and it creates this reservoir or lake that people go kayaking on, people fish on. It's just a very picturesque place. In fact, if you're visiting this area, I highly recommend go for a walk, go to this dam, and just hang out here. I think it's a great place to just look out in the morning and enjoy a cup of coffee or enjoy just a nice walk. Beautiful park. What's amazing about this park is it has a 10+ mile trail called Brushy Creek Trail. And what I want to show you is, again, this is going to be Caballo Ranch, the neighborhood that we're honing in on. All of your amenities are basically along this Whitestone Boulevard. So I have somebody under contract at a community called Cross Creek, who's a good friend of mine, and we always go out, my wife and I and our friend always go out to the Grove here. There's a wine bar. We go to Hop Dotty. We go to First Watch. And what's great about this area that I found out about recently and immediately took my bike and enjoyed it is there's a trail that runs right along 183A. So you can literally park your car here, if you're into biking, take this trail down 183A, and it feeds all the way into Brushy Creek Trail. going to zoom in a little bit more. So if you see this trail here, this goes west under the highway, but it also goes east. And if you follow the trail all the way here, it goes to the sports park, and then it goes under under Parma Lane into Brushy Creek Lake Park, and it continues to go there. So if you're into biking and even mountain biking, there's some YouTube videos I could send you that go off this trail. And people think Texas is all flat. It's not. The northwest part of Austin and West Austin has definitely some elevation, some hills, and there's some very gnarly mountain biking trails if you're into that type of stuff. But what I always say is, sometimes when we go to the suburbs, we think we're not going to be active anymore. There's nothing out here. There is. You can park here, go for a bike ride, come back, and have brunch at First Watch or Hopdoddy or something like that. And I just think that's amazing to have access to multiple parks. These are very, very large parks that anybody can access. Okay, now that we've spent some time on parks, which clearly is a big draw, so I want to spend quite a bit of time on it. I want to talk about amenities for around Caballo Ranch. I've already mentioned there's quite a bit on Whitestone Boulevard here. So you have like a Target, you have a Walmart very close by, H-E-B, that's our big grocery store here in Texas, and then a Walmart across there. And then a lot of restaurants, some chains, some not. You have Cedar Park Regional Medical Center, which is a very large hospital, and just a lot of things going on around this Whitestone Boulevard corridor. So you have almost every amenity you can think of. In terms of access to highways, you do have this 183A, which is a toll. You can take 183, old 183 if you want to avoid that. And that gets you south. 183 actually snakes all the way through Austin to the airport, which is in the southeast part of Austin. It's a great way to access downtown. If you have to get to I-35 and you're not familiar with Texas, I-35 is a major corridor into the United States. Starts in Mexico through San Antonio, through Austin, Waco, Dallas, goes all the way to Oklahoma. So if you can get access to I-35, the traffic on it through Austin is a bit horrendous. Like most cities, the main highway does get some traffic. But if you're looking to get out of town or need to travel to like Dallas or San Antonio, really nice to have access to that. Again, this is going to be Caballo Ranch right around here, and you can access 183, you can access I-35 over here, or get to the eastern part of Round Rock or Georgetown. Let's move it to growth. I think growth is so important to analyze in any city you're planning to buy in. And I have a lot of people in Austin questioning, well, is it worth it to live in some parts of Austin that have appreciated quite a bit? And to be frank, people talk about how much Austin's appreciated over the last 10 years. Almost everything in the United States has appreciated since the Great Recession in 2008. So I think you have to look at what's going to happen in the future. And if you're planning on holding long-term in Austin, these are the types of things that I would look at. One of them is going to be Apple. So before I get to the article, just kind of zoom out here and orient yourself. Again, this is going to be downtown Austin. This is going to be the Domain area, which is basically emerged as our second downtown. So you have VRBO, Indeed, you have Amazon, Facebook. Facebook just finished offices there during the pandemic. And then just northwest of the Domain, you have Apple's second campus being built out, where if you look at Apple's press release on this, they're planning on growing to capacity to grow to 15,000 employees. And right now, our largest private employer in Austin is either H-E-B, our grocery store, or Dell. I think Dell has about 13 to 14,000 employees. So this would make Apple the largest private employer in all of Austin. And just keep in mind, most people think, well, everything's around downtown, every big company's around downtown. Austin is not built out like most cities. Because we're built out recently in the last 10 years, I think these tech companies have become a little bit smarter because instead of going to downtown where areas are a little bit more expensive, the cost of living is expensive, maybe they have to pay their employees more, they can go to still very desirable areas outside the city, like 15 miles northwest of downtown where Apple's building, and still build a great campus and still have an area that's very livable for their employees. Another catalyst for growth in the northwest part of Austin are going to be 2 children's hospitals being built right here. Again, this is going to be Apple's second headquarters being built right here. This is the Domain area, that second downtown of Austin. So as you can see, there's a lot of growth in this north and northwest corridor of Austin. And the 2 children's hospitals being built here is another great example. You have Dell Children's Hospital, which just announced in May of 2020 that they would build in that area of West Avery Ranch is what I would call it. It's a great rendering of what it will possibly look like. And the second children's hospital is going to be Texas Children's Hospital. Another good rendering of what it will look like. This was actually just released recently in April of 2021. And actually middle of May, they're going to have a breaking ground ceremony. So very exciting to have not just tech, but medicine and have real estate around some of these areas. It looks very promising. Going back to the map, I wanted to talk about projects. And I just think that this is mind-blowing when you talk about the amount of development that's coming to the northwest part of Austin. Again, going back to the neighborhood, Caballo Ranch is located right here. And just to go through a few projects that I'll show some details on, there's the North Line project that's located right around here. The closest project to Caballo Ranch is going to be Indigo Ridge, which is the largest project ever to come to Williamson County. It's a $1.5 billion project. There's Leander Springs, which I believe is going in around this area. And then there's Destination Bell Boulevard, which is basically in downtown Cedar Park. And just to go through a few more details on each of these projects, I'll start with Northline. Northline is located in Leander. It's going to be a mixed-use development space. And basically, if you understand the Domain, which is 10 miles north of downtown, that has now emerged as basically the second downtown of Austin as a huge mixed-use development space. So bars, restaurants, shops, now tech companies, some commercial that's been incorporated there. Just a great place to park your car, walk around, hang out. That area of the Domain and downtown has become a bit congested, very busy, very popular. So instead of building vertically, people are looking at building more Domain-like projects in other parts of Austin. Instead of just having one center of gravity around downtown or 2 centers of gravity, including the Domain, there's going to be multiple centers of gravity. And that's actually a quote from the founding developer of the Domain. He basically said in a seminar that I attended pre-pandemic that Austin was going to be built out with multiple centers of gravity. And it's a great depiction of it. This is one of those projects that I believe you can park your car and just hang out, go to a possibly like a restaurant, a shop, maybe a little bit of a park, different things like that. The other, what they're calling Domain-like development is going to be Indigo Ridge. It's going to be another mixed-use development space, hopefully some restaurants, shops. They're also putting in 40 tennis courts. I believe it's 40. And the United States Tennis Association is stating that they possibly will have some events in this area. So I'm really looking forward to being in this area. It's right next to South Williamson County Park, which we've already covered. And very exciting project that's coming up. The other big announcement that came during the pandemic was this Leander Springs, which is this $1 billion project that will have a hotel, some residences. It's going to have a 4-acre lagoon, as you can see here, really good rendering of that. And this was just announced in December of 2020. So quick look at the map on that one. Let me just blow this up. So again, pretty deep into Leander, close to the North Line project, which is around here. And again, just to orient yourself, this is Caballo Ranch. This is the Apple's second campus. And again, all this growth going along this northwest corridor. Last project I want to mention is Destination Bell Boulevard. I have several friends in the Cedar Park area. They're so excited for this to be built out, where again, they're going to have like a park and hopefully some mixed-use development space. some restaurant shops, different things like that. Right now, they're actually moving over the road to be able to make space for this. So they're realigning Bell Boulevard. If you're looking at that in spring of 2021, you'll see a lot of construction in that area just to move the road over. So a lot of projects coming to this area, 4 projects that I've just specified. There could be some smaller ones that are coming up, but I definitely want to hone in on these 4. Lots of growth in Northwest Leander. And actually didn't want to forget, we do have a new HEB going into Leander. HEB is, if you're not familiar with Texas, it's our grocery store that we have here in Texas, which I think is fantastic. You'll have to ask me why, but this is going in the north of Ronald Reagan Boulevard. So basically, again, Caballo Ranch, which we've been talking about, is here. This is going to be that new HEB. And then they are building out another area for commercials. So I don't think they've specified what else is going in there. But this area is basically cleared out at this point. So this is an outdated satellite image. And really exciting to have new HEB going in that area. I want to end with schools. Schools is such a big factor when you're looking at homes around this area. And I want to put a big disclaimer up here. I'm going to show some ratings of schools, but keep in mind ratings can change over time and school lines can change over time. And we'll talk about that here in about a minute. Right now, this is going to be Caballo Ranch that we've been honing in on. And if you look just north of Caballo Ranch, you have Stiles Middle School here and Monta Akin Elementary School. So they're right next to each other and just north of Caballo Ranch. And currently I always like to look at greatschools.org. The reason is they're currently partnered with Zillow. 80% of buyers last year at one point in the buy process were on Zillow. So a lot of eyeballs are looking at these types of ratings. Again, school ratings can change, so can school lines. But currently Akin Elementary is showing a good rating, Stiles Middle School, and then you have Rouse High School too. What I would say about school lines is I highly recommend looking at community impact. They seem to summarize what's happening within Leander ISD quite a bit. ISD stands for Independent School District, and the ISD, Leander ISD specifically, has to make plans for new elementary schools and new middle schools and potentially new high schools in the future. As more and more new construction comes out to these areas, of course, there could be some elementary schools that are possibly getting crowded, so that they have to keep building. For example, this is an article that shows a new elementary school planning to be built out every single year for the next 6 years, I believe this is. And this article was in October of 2020. You can certainly find some more up-to-date articles, but I think this gave a good summary and a good map of what's happening. There's a new elementary school going in northwest of Caballo Ranch called Nancy Tarvin Elementary. That's in a community called Palmyra Ridge. And then the next one after that is going to be, I believe, Bryson, which is another community in Leander. And then I believe Treviso, another community in northwest Leander, Beautiful Hills in Treviso. And then I believe they're planning on Ranch at Brushy Creek. Now, again, these are just plans. When you see the school board talking, it doesn't mean that it's definitive. So just take these articles with a grain of salt. But really good information in some of these articles. It's something that I'm monitoring often. Like here's an article from February of 2021 talking about reducing crowding and what they're doing to do that. Opening up Nancy Tarvin. And I think there was another article talking about starting construction on the newest elementary school going in Bryson. So really exciting to see these types of ratings. Again, they can change over time, but this is why this area has become so popular, in my opinion, because people are trying to hone in on a few specific schools, as well as be close to the amenities on Whitestone Boulevard, as well as be close to all this growth with Apple and Facebook and Amazon at the domain. And I haven't even mentioned some of these other employers like eBay and PayPal. And so it's just, Austin has a tech. We also have new medicine, new hospitals being built. just so much promising activity coming around this area and so many reasons to live in this area. So I hope this helps. If you are interested in areas like Caballo Ranch or neighborhoods that surround it, I love going into these deep analysis or a deep analysis of some of these neighborhoods, because I think it really helps hone in on if you're looking to be close to parks, if you're looking to be close to Whitestone Boulevard with all those amenities, and these are things that you have as boxes and you're trying to check as many of them off as possible. We can hone in on different neighborhoods that really work for you. So as always, if you are interested in exploring Austin real estate, whether to live or invest, feel free to call me on the number that you see on this screen. I'm always happy to help. And again, my name is Raj Sahu, realtor in Austin, Texas. Take care, everybody.